Hey, thanks for stopping by Mystic Messages. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Hope everyone is doing amazing. First off, I have to apologize for being away these past, I think it's 4 or 5 days. Unfortunately, I've been under heavy spiritual attack, so I really had to protect myself and my energy and ground myself so I can come out here and better help serve those who need to hear these messages. So I apologize for being away. However, it couldn't be helped. And that's basically what today's message is about. Okay, so just as a reminder, these messages are timeless and will be received in divine timing for those who need to hear them. As always, if they don't apply, please let them fly. You're always welcome to come back for the next one, but I do encourage you to hang out because there might be a specific word or message in here that might be for you, especially if this just happened to pass by your feed. Okay. That being said, let's get into it. I kept hearing when the going gets tough. This is what I kept hearing. Okay. And this is basically what I've been, working through myself this week and through my entire life. Okay. Basically, when you are a spiritual being, and many may not be aware, we're all spiritual beings, but when you're a spiritual being that's ascending or looking to ascend or feeling like as if though you had some kind of a purpose, and whoever I'm speaking to, most people who can relate with these messages do see themselves as having a purpose. And yes, we all do have a purpose. Some of us have a different purpose from others, but we have a purpose nonetheless. Okay. And basically, when you have a purpose, okay, when you're a spiritual being, there are going to be unseen forces, okay, out there, spiritual forces that many of us are not aware of, that are going to try to prevent us from fulfilling that purpose, whatever that purpose is. Okay. Whoever I'm speaking to right now, for example, there's a person out there who has been receiving the nudge the entire life to write their biography, and yet every time things get tough, you're not going forward with it. Okay. Another person is being asked to start some type of a charity. This is something you've been feeling since you were a child, something that you wanted to do to give back to society. And again, when it became tough or when people went against your ideas, okay, when people mocked at you when you shared those ideas, or things became difficult for you to get these things done. Okay, these are just two examples. These are just two individuals that I just received the download on. So whoever you are, for the person who's was waiting to write that book, and for the other person who's waiting to begin that charity, this is your green light to do so. Okay, and not to give up, even though things have been difficult for you. Okay, you can't cause the difficult situations to prevent you from moving forward. That is one of the greatest tactics that has been used by the Matrix for years. Making things difficult for people who have a specific purpose, who are being guided for a specific purpose in this world. Okay. And the two individuals that I just spoke to now, okay, you have a specific purpose, you have a story to tell. Okay. The story in your biography is going to help millions of people. But if you don't get past the fear of actually putting your work out there, okay, you're not going to be able to help people. You're not going to be able to fulfill your sole purpose and thereby causing yourself to have to, come back and do this all over again, come back to Earth School. Okay, so the best thing, the suggestion for you would be to follow that purpose. Again, these are just suggestions. You don't have to do them, you don't have to follow them. They're up to you. Everyone has free will. Okay, but these are the things that many of us need to learn. Okay, I myself needed to learn that when things used to become difficult for me when I was younger, I would give up instead of pushing forward. For example, we're going to use this week as an example. I've been under such heavy spiritual attack that I've been exhausted, literally unable to, drag myself out of bed, get my workouts done, just function on a daily basis. I've been, feeling foggy, lightheaded. I'm dealing with sciatica pain. But these are all part for the course. They're part of my life. Okay. And they're part of every spiritual being's life, especially those who are trying to fulfill their purpose. Just like I'm trying to fulfill my purpose. We're all trying to do our very best to accomplish the goals that we signed, in a contract before we even arrived here, in Earth School. We before we came here, we decided we signed specific contracts that we promised to fulfill. Okay. And one of my contracts this time, okay, and unfortunately, okay, not to sidetrack, but I just wanted to back that up with. Unfortunately, we're not always aware of what those those assignments are, or those contracts that we sign, what they are. We're not supposed to. We're supposed to figure them out. Okay, and it took me a while. It took me through a lot of trial and error. Okay, and at my age, okay, you're never too old to reinvent yourself, which is what I'm doing now. Okay, but I've noticed through many years of trials and tribulations and the time that I spent and the different types of work that I did, I always felt the work that fulfilled me most was when I worked as a counselor because I always wanted to help people. That was the ultimate goal. I've been everything from a real estate agent, a licensed real estate agent, to a licensed cosmetologist. I've been a cook. Uh, I've had my own businesses. I mean, you name it, I did it. None of those ever worked out for me because that was the universe's way of showing me that those were the areas of my life that weren't aligned with my higher purpose. Okay, which is kind of what whoever I'm speaking to is going through now. These are why things are not aligning with you. These are why things are not working out the way that you'd like them to work out, because the areas that you're moving yourself into are going contrary to what your purpose is. Now, again, getting back to what our purpose is, those are those divine nudges that we get inside of us. Okay, what a lot of us like to call intuition. Okay, and those little voices that we hear that we think are our intuition because this is what we were told. Okay, well, excuse me, they are intuition. What I meant to say was our conscious. We were told that was our conscious guiding us. Okay, kind of like our Jiminy Cricket. Okay, telling us what to do. That's actually our intuition. That voice is voice, the um, from the ethereal realms. Okay, from the spiritual realms, and a lot of us in today's society were taught not to believe in that. So we were taught to stifle those voices. And when we don't listen to that voice, okay, whether it tells us something good, bad, or indifferent, is when we find ourselves in trouble. And then we wonder why when things don't work out. Okay. There's a lot of things that we might want to do. But, like for instance, we'll use an example. There's so many people out there who want to jump out of a plane, for instance, for God knows what reason. Okay. If that's the way they get their thrill, that's cool. Listen, however you get your rocks off is your business. No judgment here. I personally wouldn't jump out of a plane, but yet some people have that calling to want to do so. Okay. But then you get that specific group of people who, you know, want to do this. And I don't know if this is going to make sense to everyone. But the minute that they get there and it's time for them to complete that action, there's a voice in them that tells them not to. Okay. And that's usually the voice, that's the red flag. And I don't know if that's a good enough example for a red flag of when, we're listening to that, what we call our conscience guiding us is actually divine information that's being downloaded into us, telling us, okay, either to beware of something, to go forward with something, okay, when to push through, when to discern whether something is preventing you from moving forward because it's something that you're doing or it's something that's supernatural that's happening. There's a million different scenarios that could take place that can cause us from moving forward. But most of the time, it's ourselves. It's ourselves going against the grain, not going with the flow. Okay, so that's what today's message is about. Okay, the bottom line of this message is, whoever's receiving it, is not to give up and to follow those nudges you've been receiving. Move forward with them. Okay, don't allow the spirits of fear and ridicule and judgment to prevent you from doing the things that you need to be doing in this life that are going to bring you that are going to bring you happiness, that are going to bring you forward, to the place that you want to be. The divine realms is here to guide us if we ask. Again, going back to our free will, they can't just intervene without us asking for direction. Okay, it's kind of like when I create these messages. These are not something that I could just create, on a whim like that. Okay, they have to be channeled. They have to come through. There has to be specific information that comes through. A lot of times it comes through imagery. Sometimes it comes through a specific song that I hear, or something that I see, in my daily passing, or something that I'm aware of during meditation. But this is how I work. This is how I channel. I receive a lot of different things, and this is why it's very difficult for me a lot of times to share with everyone out there exactly what it is, the images that I'm receiving, because I have to take those images and then decipher and figure out what they mean. Okay, unfortunately, when we're dealing with the spiritual realms, we're dealing with rhymes and riddles. Okay, which sucks because I'm not a big riddle player. Okay, never liked it. I enjoy rhymes, couldn't stand riddles. It was never my thing. I don't like things that like to cock up my brain with nonsense. But Nonetheless, I still have to figure it out because that's what I'm here to do. This is something that I've been, working with since I was a child. Okay, having, receiving certain messages, certain images, certain things that I'm supposed to decipher. And either I'm supposed to figure out things for myself or share them with others like the community out here. And hopefully, like I said, my greatest wish is for those who really need to hear these messages receive them because it's very important, especially if I get these downloads. Especially after a week of, sheer exhaustion. Okay. And that's where I was at. I literally couldn't, I pushed myself through everything. Getting through, this entire week was, hard for me. But again, I won't allow those negative energies, those negative entities, those negative forces are not going to prevent me from getting these messages out there. Okay, I have many cross watchers out there. Unfortunately, I'm not going to give them any type of energy from it. But unfortunately, there are many out there who probably thought that, whatever they did worked and I wasn't coming back and I was finally gone and they succeeded. It don't work that way. So I want to give whoever is going through the same struggle right now, whoever is dealing with exhaustion or fear of moving forward, okay, or feeling unsure, this is your confirmation, okay, for you not to feel unsure. You're on the right track. Move forward. Follow those nudges that you're getting. Follow them because they're going to take you to a better place, okay? When the divine sets you on a path, okay, they're already there ahead of us, okay? We don't always know all the answers. We don't always know what's going to be. We don't know how things are going to turn out. But when we follow with faith and trust in something that's higher than ourselves, we will get the downloads and the information that we need, okay, so we can follow our path more fearlessly, okay? And it's not easy. It's scary. It's scary to put yourself out there, but you can do it, okay? Like I said, if I can do this, anyone can do this. Okay. I'm not a public speaker. Many of you are aware of that, but I do notice that I'm getting better the more I put myself out here. Okay. It takes practice. It takes time. It takes determination. Okay. I don't worry about what others think because those who need this message, those who that it will apply for, will understand what it's about and they'll get it. That's the purpose. And those that don't get it, they don't get it. That's cool. I'm not going to be for everyone, and everyone's not for me. Everyone is not for everyone. We all have our own soul tribe to find. Okay. And the same thing applies to the individuals I'm speaking to. Don't be afraid. Move yourself forward. You got this. Okay. This is to give you the encouragement that you're needing right now because I'm getting this feeling, whoever I'm speaking to, you're feeling very low, very down, very confused, okay? And you don't know where to turn and you've been waiting for an answer. Here's your answer, okay? Move forward. Listen to that voice. Listen to what that voice is telling you to do. If it's telling you to go, go. If it's telling you to stay, stay. Whatever it is. But again, you have free will. I respect your free will. I'm not here to, try to convince anyone. I'm not here to try to lead anyone. I'm no different than anyone else out there. I'm just here as a vessel, bringing the information through for those who need to hear it, and hopefully, those who need to hear it today receive it. Okay. Again, I want to thank everyone for stopping by. I appreciate, if you give a like to any of these videos, I appreciate that. It helps the algorithm for others to receive these messages, and it also, helps you in the long run, helps your karma to, push messages through that even though they might not be for you, you're helping another person receive them. Okay, so that's just good karma. Again, there's no pressure. Everyone has free will to do what they want to do. Okay, so we're gonna leave it at that. Hopefully, I'm gonna be by again tomorrow. I'm feeling a little better now. Thanks again for your patience, and we'll see you again soon. Take care.